All right, guys, welcome back to a new client interview. And this one, actually, I'm joined by a very good friend, but also recently clients with our advisory and consulting at AdEngine. Jordan was on the channel a few months ago. We actually spoke about TikTok. Now, that being said, today he's back to speak about us working together in consulting on one of his client ad accounts regarding Facebook and Google Ads. So, Jordan, welcome to the channel.
Thank you so much, man. I'm glad to be here. Talk about it.
Yeah, love it, man. I mean, I think this was a great end of Q4 for this business of yours. And perhaps, do you want to just give a little bit of context for anybody watching this as to when did that client kind of come on board with you? What was the mandate that you were given with? And perhaps, like, why did you come to us in the first place?
Yeah. So a little bit of backstory. We originally onboarded this client back in October to bring on to take on TikTok. So we took on their TikTok ads and we took over their TikTok shop. At the time, they were kind of like just trying to figure out how to scale it. Our TikTok shop expertise, we came in and was able to help them do that. But then we got around mid-November after the first month. I guess they had onboarded with another agency and they had terrible results. Like we're talking like 0.6, 0.7 ROAS on the month's results, spending tens of thousands of dollars. And so, because we'd done such a good job with TikTok, we'd already scaled up to around 100K a month at that point in the TikTok shop. They're like, well, do you guys do Meta and Google? And we're like, yeah, we do. Because, we've had experience doing Google and Meta. The budgets that we were talking about managing were quite significant. We were talking about spending hundreds of thousands of dollars within a monthly period. And that's something that, I was like, okay, well, since we're bringing on this client with TikTok, we want to make sure that if we're taking on with Meta and Google, that we do the best job possible. And there's no one else that I could think other than bringing you on, Justin, to help support that efforts, because I know you've managed a lot of big budgets before. And, obviously we work together with clients as well. So I was like, okay, well, Justin and his team are going to give us the best chance of getting the best results. So that was kind of the intent. And it was under a very, very stressful time of the year where we're talking like a week or two before Black Friday. And then all of their ads were completely off on Google and Facebook. So
I think you texted me something like November 6th or November 7th. And in November 8th, from what we had just checked prior to starting to record, was when you started consulting with the team. And I just remember you telling me like, hey, man, kind of red flag. Like there's a lot of ad spend we got to push in a very short amount of time. Like, what do we do here?
Yeah. And honestly, man, the feeling I had about like reaching out to you and getting help with you was like, I had that confidence behind me knowing that you guys would be able to support us with that effort too. So that's like, that gave me a little bit of peace of mind, just knowing we had a second opinion, someone who's managed that amount of ad spend, if not more. Well, actually, you've managed a lot more than that. So, that really gave us like that peace of mind that we'd figure it out. And yeah.
Appreciate it. And so, that said, we kind of consulted for November and the start of December. And that was kind of the strategy that you then put forth for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, but that also carried you through the entire month of December. So if we're now going to move into numbers and perhaps specificities, without mentioning this brand name, this was a toy company and operating in the US. You said earlier 0.6 ROAS was what they had prior on that Facebook. Okay. So 0.6 ROAS to what was exactly spend and revenue during Black Friday, Cyber Monday / December?
Yeah. So between, I think like starting out around November 8th-ish when we started like working with Justin's team, to the end of December, we spent a total of $412,000 in ad spend within that period. And we were able to hit a 2.3 blended ROAS. So we were managing like Google, Facebook, and TikTok shop. And that came out to around $918,000 in revenue within that period. So just shy of $1 million within 7
million. Nice. Love it. So just below $500,000 in ad spend and shy of $1 million essentially in the overall revenue. So love it. And in other words, essentially, now we've talked blended, but even the platform metrics itself improved from the last time that we checked. I think we were at, if I recall, like a 1.6 on some of these, even a little more. Like what was on platform ROAS looking like?
Yeah. So on platform ROAS, I think with Google, we were kind of hovering around 1.5, 1.6.
Yeah.
And then on Meta, we were somewhere around 1.4, 1.5 as well. When it all was said and done, we had a little bit of a dip off like after Christmas. We were still spending pretty heavily that I think affected our overall ROAS, because during the period up until Christmas, we were kind of hovering around like 1.92 ROAS. And we just couldn't maintain that sales volume after Christmas. So it did have a little bit of an effect, but still well above what the client was looking for. And in comparison to where it was before,
Yeah. It's like you guys, together were able to kind of get them to a 2.5x what they had before and even three at the peak. But, we're going to be safe here with numbers and say about a 2.5x at the end of the day.
Honestly, what's crazy about this, this particular brand is they didn't really even have their break-even ROAS numbers for us as well. So we were helping them kind of come up with them and figure it out during this time. And they haven't even kind of gotten to the bottom of everything, right? Because they're a big company. So it's very interesting to work with a brand like that too. So we were doing our best.
Yeah. And I think, through you guys, obviously this is something that now you're kind of bringing up a very interesting point because I also feel like a lot of ecom brands that are coming up and not even ecom brands, info product businesses and local I've seen do the same thing.
Yeah.
Which is they have a rough mental idea of, well, if I see this ROAS number, I'll probably have money in the bank at the end of the month, but it's not like an actual science into the T. And so, good on you for figuring this out, off the get go with these guys. And so now to kind of ask you, like, what do you think has been most beneficial in that consulting spurt that we've had together? Like, I know I chimed in with a lot of Loom videos, audio messages, but
yeah,
I'd like to hear it from you. Like, what do you think was best with it?
Yeah. So I think for us, one of the biggest things that we took away from consulting with you guys is actually on the Google side as well. A lot of things that we wanted to make sure we could do in the budget with managing, like whether it's the way we set up those campaigns, making sure we do it properly. You even went to the extra mile and you recommended someone else to help us with all the tracking, make sure that was set up.
Yeah.
And ultimately it was a matter of like just kind of pressure checking and knowing like, okay, what's the best offer? What are the best budgets to go with the time frame we had? Because we had so many restrictions around letting this be able to learn. And so I would say that the most valuable thing that I found, and honestly, it was more of a feeling. And I know a lot of people who are media buyers and people who have experience or just looking for help. This is really valuable. This has always been valuable to me is when I know that I have someone I can go to for advice on particular questions and feel confident that the responses are the correct way to handle something because you've had the experience.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't even be able to say maybe a specific like piece of advice that you give me on Google or Meta that really had like stood out. It was more of just that factor that you had that experience behind you and then I could rely on that experience and then look what we did. You know what I mean? I mean, the proof in the results. So, definitely was very grateful for that and was allowed us to have a really, really big, end of the year. So
love it. So in other words, kind of a safety net, essentially, you have there is something to fall back on and not, be alone on the, be the sole soldier on the front end, essentially. And
late at night thinking, did I make the right decisions on these campaigns today? Or
it makes sense. And I also, it's a good thing that what you say, because I do want to highlight that also about just AdEngine and one-on-one consulting as a whole. It's like I tell people, I had a lot of answers to a lot of questions, and the ones that I don't, I know someone who does. And when it came to you, you had like some specific problems with Google tracking, which I was like, hey, could I fix that myself? No, but I got a guy who can hop on your account right now and fix that within a few hours. You'll be able to do it. And so put you in touch with this guy. And it typically on the Meta side, what happens and where I refer people to is like ad account bans or business manager shutdowns or like that my profile got hacked. And it's like all those weird restrictions, which you and I both know Meta support on doesn't really give a F. Let's just put it that way about you as a user. Those are things that, although we don't do, we can at least refer people to the right person to do so.
Yeah. And I think one other thing too, that you reminded me of one other thing too, that was very helpful is we kind of decided to like, after you had a look at like how the Meta was set up, because we were coming kind of blind and figuring out like, do we keep on some of these campaigns or turn them off? Or do we turn on some of the other campaigns that were doing well in the past and let them run? And we kind of able to like get your 2 cents on, consolidating those campaigns and what to focus on. So that helped us kind of focus our spend a bit more, especially because of the time frame that we had too. So that was really valuable as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, appreciate the nice words, man. Is there anything else you'd like to say perhaps before we wrap this up?
Yeah, man. Dude, you helped us do our biggest month ever with the agency. We were able to take home a 30K performance with this particular brand. There's some other aspects to our deal that we had structured that we were helping them with on the back end side of things for generating revenue as well. So just very grateful and appreciative to kind of have that confidence that we could really execute in Q4. So thank you, man.
Well, again, appreciate the nice words. And I know you guys are crushing it on the TikTok side also internally. That said, you said it yourself, we've collaborated and still collaborate actively on accounts where you handle the TikTok side, and
Yeah.
looking forward to more of this collaboration in the next few months, this new year. And that said, well, obviously, I think now you're heading back into content also on your side of things for this new year. We talked about that yesterday. You want to start pumping out our TikTok stuff. So, if you're watching this, I'll drop Jordan links down below for you to check out some of his TikTok stuff on YouTube, Instagram, or the internet. And, Jordan, thank you for coming on.
Thanks, Justin. Appreciate it, man.
Awesome. All right. Cheers. Thanks so much for watching this quick client interview. With that being said, if you want to work with us under AdEngine 101 consulting, just like this client did in this interview, check out a second link in the description down below to join our AdEngine 101 consulting program. With that being said, if you want us to work on a done for you basis and build your paid ads campaigns on Meta, Google, or TikTok, check the first link in the description down below to book in a call with myself and the team at paidadvertising.com. On that note, I'm going to wish you an amazing day. Check out other videos of the channel for some more useful marketing tips, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.